Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy, NerdModon, and welcome to episode 15 of Sniper Sundays, a video series where I'll be using anything from DMRs to bolt-action sniper rifles and just going over some information in relation to the item similar to a weapon review. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So for this episode, we're going to be taking a look at the Scout Elite. Now this weapon does have a 63 rounds per minute as well as a velocity clocking in at 640 meters a second. Now the rate of fire in specific on this weapon is the fastest rate of fire alongside the CS LR4. So of course, alongside having the rate of fire be very fast, you also have the velocity coming in at a very quick speed, which is going to make it a little bit easier for you to account for moving targets and especially long range distance targets. Now of course, transferring your guys' eyes over to the damage model, you'll notice that this weapon does a maximum damage of 100 damage up until 12.5 meters, and then of course after 12.5 meters you're going to see a gradual decline of the overall damage being outputted at range. However, the minimum damage of this weapon is 36.6 damage, and this can be reached at 110 meters. Now with that information talked about, let's take a look at the reload speeds as well as the magazine size to give you guys a better idea of how this weapon is going to perform, especially in the engagements that it's required in. Now of course, this weapon does have a short reload clocking in at 2.85 seconds as well as a long reload clocking in at 4.3 seconds. Now this specific weapon does have a 6-round magazine, which is compatible with the 338 Recon, the weapon that we did in the previous installation, talking a little bit about the magazine sizes in comparison to its competitors. And finally, taking a look at the recoil numbers, considering that this information will provide you guys with an idea of how the weapon is going to kick, and in many cases how it's going to perform when it comes down to pulling the trigger of this specified weapon. Now starting things off on the horizontal side of things, you guys will notice that this weapon has a left pull of 0 as well as a right pull of 0. However, looking at the vertical side of things, you guys will notice that this weapon is going to be kicking vertically at 0.25. Now it might be worth noting that this specific weapon does have a first shot multiplier of 2 times. Now considering that you are using a bolt action sniper rifle, in many cases you're not going to notice the recoil pattern, considering that you are only chambering 1 bullet every time you pull the trigger. But in conclusion, I would say that this weapon is suited for a player that really enjoys a high velocity and in many cases a high rate of fire, especially when it comes down to putting down ammunition down range and hopefully hitting a player in an adequate manner. However, one of the most dissatisfying statistics of the weapon is that the minimum damage drops down to 36.6 damage. Now this makes it impossible for you to one-shot a player no matter where you hit them at long range. But anyway guys, when it comes down to it, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Sniper Sundays. Of course, if you guys would like to recommend a weapon for next week, feel free to let me know in the comments below. But until the next episode guys, this has been NMO, and I'm going to be signing out guys. Peace.